Even before I actually looked into the franchise, I always felt mesmerized whenever I saw anything related to Care Bears. Maybe it's because my mom grew up watching the movie and owning the plushies growing up, maybe it's because I'm easily drawn to things that are cute and colorful, or maybe it's just because the Care Bears got so much riz. Usually when most people think of animated media from Care Bears, the first thing that comes to mind would probably be the Care Bears movie from 1985, or for a more recent example, Unlock the Magic. However, long before the Bears even had their own feature film, they starred in 2 half-hour specials that aired on syndication. I should probably provide a brief history on Care Bears. Just like Strawberry Shortcake and the Get Along Gang, Care Bears started out as a series of greeting cards from American Greetings, and would later be adapted to a series of plushies by Kenner. With the sudden growth of Care Bears cards and merch, American Greetings' character division, those characters from Cleveland, made a deal with Atkinson Film-Arts to produce 2 specials starring the Bears. The Care Bears and the Land Without Feelings, which aired on April 22, 1983, and the Care Bears Battle the Freeze Machine, which aired on April 6, 1984. Both specials would later re-air as episodes of Nelvana's Care Bears Family. While I was never a Care Bears fan growing up, I always had a bit of a soft spot for them in some form, though I often treated them as a joke for how overly cutesy-wootsy they look. However, the specials themselves, while not perfect, really showed how genuinely serious the franchise can get. Let's start off with the first special. The Care Bears and the Land Without Feelings starts off with an argument between 2 friends. Kevin is pissed off and says he doesn't care. The Cloud Keeper, Care-a-Lot's personal janitor, notices and begins to narrate the entire story, where he introduces us to the Care Bears and Care-a-Lot.
Because this is Care-a-Lot, where the Care Bears live. Tonight is the night we give the Bear of the Month award to the bear who cares the most. But I'll let the bears tell you about it.
We now cut to a montage of all 10 Care Bears, showing us a glimpse of their personalities and special abilities.
Who can brighten up your day? Who can smile and chase the blues away? Who can lend a helping hand? The Care Bears can. They care a lot about you. Who can keep you warm at night? Who can cuddle up and hold you tight? Who can paint a wonderland? The Care Bears can. They care a lot about you.
I'm Tenderheart Sunshine. I spread a little sunshine. I'm Grumpy Bear for when you feel blue. I'm Lorelei.
I'm Birthday Bear.
I'll cheer you up and show I care. At bedtime, I'll dream along with you. I'm Wish Bear.
I'll bring it up.
I'll be your friend when you get stuck.
Care Bears care about you. Who can make you laugh out loud? Who can ride a rainbow through a cloud? Who will always see you through? Care Bears care a lot about you.
Bedtime Bear wakes up and tells the other bears what's going on with Kevin and Donna. Kevin wants to run away because he doesn't want to move to a new neighborhood.
I don't care about anything. I really don't. I
Uh-oh,
don't care
that
about
sounds
anything.
bad.
They need a friend. This is a job for Friend Bear.
They need love and sympathy. No, they need cheering up. It's my job. No, they need someone to grump with. Oh, they should take a nap. Then they'll feel better. I wish.
Wow, birthdays make you feel good. I should go.
I wish. I'll go instead. I wish.
I'm going.
No, me. I wish they'd let me finish.
So Tenderheart and Friend Bear go down there to help patch things up. Things didn't go well, and they return to Care-a-Lot.
Tenderheart called everyone to a meeting in the Hall of Hearts. They decided this was a job for all of them. After all, 10 bears who care are better than 2. If Kevin saw how many new friends he had, he wouldn't feel so bad.
All 10 Care Bears come down to Earth, but uh-oh, Kevin is nowhere to be found. Meanwhile, Kevin walks far away from his neighborhood and enters a gloomy abandoned park.
I don't care. Who cares?
Sorry, I thought you wanted a drink. What are you doing here anyway?
I'm running away.
It's none of my business. But if I were you, I wouldn't go in there. Or I might be sorry.
I don't care.
Well, neither do I. But if I did, I'd turn right around.
I don't care.
Alright, Kevin, we get it. You don't care. You don't have to say that every time you speak. Sheesh, what a grouch. We are introduced to the franchise's original main villain, Professor Coldheart, who could easily pass off as the Snow Miser's evil cousin.
Are you the boy who doesn't care?
Yeah?
Good. You've come to the right place. Nobody cares about anything here, right, boys?
Who are they?
Well, they could be my friends, but I don't care about them.
And now we get an introduction song all about him.
Allow me to introduce myself. They call me Professor Cold Heart. I'm cold and cruel and crafty. But wait, here comes the best part. I'll freeze your feelings cold as ice and chill your cares. Oh, that sounds nice. So listen, here's some sound advice. Be smart. Don't mess with the professor. Cutting, clever Cold Heart.
So Cold Heart takes Kevin to his castle. Meanwhile, Donna and the Care Bears discover the abandoned park that Kevin wandered into.
Wow, mini city. Don't you want to be friends?
No.
Don't you care about loving and helping each other?
Yes, but actually no.
Don't you care about anything?
Yes.
No.
I was told about a beautiful place that was turned cold and ugly by a mean man. It was called the Land Without Feelings.
Land without brains is more like it.
Knowing that all the sentient trees and rocks lack feelings, the Care Bears start singing.
Everyone has feelings. I bet you have feelings too.
I don't.
Just look around, they're not hard to find. They're sitting right there inside you.
Go away.
Thick.
All you have to do is show you care.
On everywhere, we'll be alright.
After things are restored, a tree tells him that Kevin was taken away by Professor Coldheart in his castle.
You must be thirsty, aren't you, Kevin?
Well, I'd like...
Something cold? Very cold? Drink up, my boy.
Well,
Come, drink. Right. Feel anything?
No.
Good.
Hey, what's happening to me?
Quiet, slave.
Did he just... Yup.
So Wish and Grumpy stay with Donna, while the rest of the Care Bears head out to Coldheart Castle to rescue Kevin. Along the way, each bear uses their special abilities to overcome obstacles, but they were ultimately no match for Coldheart's traps. Meanwhile, Donna, Grumpy, and Wish notice how long the rest of the bears have been gone, so Wish Bear makes a wish that teleports all of them to Coldheart's castle. What was even the whole point of heading towards his castle if Wish Bear could just easily teleport them there? Oh right, I forgot, it's because no one listens to her. But still, it could have easily saved them the hassle.
Kevin? Oh, yes. Here he is.
But that's not Kevin.
We want him like he was.
Oh, that's impossible.
What do we do now?
Be very loving. Make a
No,
wish.
no, no.
Friendly.
No, be cheerful.
No. Don't worry, Kevin. They'll think of something.
Wait, we have to care all together.
You mean use?
The Care Bear stare!
The what?
So all 10 Care Bears unite together to use their powerful Care Bear stare to change Kevin and the rest of Coldheart's victims back to normal.
You win, little fuzzies, for now. But you haven't heard the last from Professor Coldheart.
After Professor Coldheart escapes, he gets a lot of karma from the plants, rocks, and trees. And considering all the awful things he did to the park, it feels extremely satisfying seeing him get tortured a lot.
But everything worked out in the end. Kevin's parents promised to come back and see everyone soon, and they said Donna could visit anytime. The land without feelings became a land of love and friendship again. And the Care Bears, they're back in Care-a-Lot. Oh, you know who won the award? They couldn't decide, so they all shared it, just like them, huh? You just like them.
We return to Care-a-Lot in the next special, The Care Bears Battle the Freeze Machine. Here, the Cloud Keeper reintroduces us to the Care Bears, but we are also introduced to 3 new Care Bears, Baby Hugs, Baby Tugs, and Graham's Bear. After that, the special's opening credits play.
I wanna be a Care Bear. Oh, it'll be so great when I'm a Care Bear. But I can hardly wait to be a Care Bear and do the things that Care Bears do.
Fun fact, the song you're listening to right now was reused as the intro for Deeks' Care Bears series. Heck, the special soundtrack was even reused in that show as well. When this special re-aired as an episode of the Care Bears family, the opening credits were removed, which is kind of a shame since it features original animation not seen anywhere else.
Don't wanna be a cook or a fireman. Don't wanna play trombone in the marching band. I just wanna be a Care Bear like you. I just wanna be a Care Bear.
Wish Bear discovers a boy in need of help. His name is Paul, and he's a victim of bullying, which grabs the attention of Professor Coldheart.
You did it on purpose. Why are you always picking on me?
'Cause you're an oddball. And we don't like oddballs.
Hey Lumpy, can you further elaborate what makes him an oddball? So the bears plan on going down to help Paul out, while Hugs and Tugs sneak inside a cloud car. Meanwhile, Coldheart now resides in an abandoned mansion with his bumbling sidekick Frostbite. He plans on using his careless ray gun contraption to freeze the hearts of every child.
It's ready for the kiddies.
Excellent. One by one, I'll numb their youthful spirits.
Numb their spirits.
And freeze their little hearts. All with the touch of a button.
All with the touch of a button.
You've ruined my careless ray contraption!
After Frostbite accidentally breaks the contraption, Professor Coldheart goes after Paul to see if he could fix it for him.
I'll get you, Lumpy. I don't care how I do it.
You won't make any friends that way.
The Care Bears show up to sing to Paul about accepting those who are different, until Frostbite joins in the song by singing how getting even is the way to go.
You just give a little shove, you'll find that just a little shove's exactly what you're thinking of. To pay them back for what they've done to you, be a little bad, make a little trouble, even up the score of a trick or two. Listen to me, kid, this could be your big debut. Come on, then give a little shove and watch it turn black and blue.
Paul ultimately ends up hanging out with Frostbite.
Let's go and have some real fun.
Yeah. I really want to make those kids sorry.
Paul, what about making friends?
Forget it, it's too late.
The bears return to Care-a-Lot, but now Hugs and Tugs are trapped on Earth, where they are kidnapped by Professor Coldheart. The bears go back after realizing that Hugs and Tugs are missing. Paul fixes Coldheart's contraption, and Coldheart tells him to go open the shutters to the highly dangerous, likely not up to code bell tower. The bears hear Paul in distress when the ladder at the bell tower breaks, and decide to help him out.
What were you doing up there anyway?
You'll find out soon enough. Thanks for helping me to get even with Lumpy and his friends.
What did he mean by that?
I don't know, but we better follow him.
I did it! I did it!
So you did.
So tell me, what you gonna do to Lumpy and the...
The little fuzzy wuzzies can tell you.
You're gonna do that to Lumpy too?
Paul starts to realize that Coldheart's idea of comeuppance is much more sinister than he wanted it to be, so he starts having second thoughts while Coldheart and Frostbite sing.
Thanks to you, we'll freeze the population.
Lock them into deepest hibernation.
Thanks to you, there's no more caring, no more loving, no more sharing. This will be our very darkest day. We're gonna numb those fuzzy wuzzies and all those little kiddies too. We're gonna put the freeze on feelings thanks to you.
Thanks to you, thanks to you.
I don't want to get even anymore. I just wanted them to like me. It's all my fault.
The Care Bears arrive at the mansion, where Coldheart tells them his dastardly plan. They spot Paul crying, telling him that it's not too late to stand up. Paul starts to gain courage after Grumpy assumes he didn't care enough, so Paul and the Care Bears are now going to put a stop to Professor Coldheart. Coldheart uses his contraption to freeze every child in town.
Every child in town is now frozen solid.
I assume this town probably has almost no child population, since we only see him freeze 4 kids. Paul tries to hijack it while the professor isn't looking. At the same time, the Care Bears plan on doing their powerful Care Bear stare.
You're too late.
It's never too late if you care enough.
Care Bears, prepare to stare.
Now!
Stare there.
They stare in this contraption, ultimately unfreezing everyone, including Hugs and Tugs.
Boy, we sure fixed that machine.
Darn you fuzzies. You've won again.
But next time we'll get you. Woo!
What do you mean we, you little Come back here, you kid. That's the last time you'll me up.
The special ends with one last musical number, implying that Lumpy and the bullies became friends with Paul, and that the Care Bears restored peace on Earth.
If you just laugh a lot, share a lot, help a lot, care a lot, give a lot, right to the end, you'll find that daytime, nighttime, anytime is the perfect time to make a friend. There's no need to wait, 'cause it's the perfect time to make a friend.
Man, these specials were not afraid to handle darker subjects, especially if Professor Coldheart was involved. Considering how most tend to laugh off Care Bears as being sickly sweet, these specials did have some intense and somewhat emotional moments that I think well balances out with the overall happy-go-lucky vibes that the franchise is known for. And even then, some of those preachy moments in these specials just make me laugh for how ironically funny they are. As for the Care Bears themselves, they don't have much distinct personalities compared to later incarnations, but they do show off their unique abilities and little quirks. They also serve as great voices of reasons without coming off as too annoying. Hugs and Tugs are just so adorable, and since this was way before they took over the Nelvana series, I don't mind their inclusion here. Though it is strange how these two specials are the Cloud Keepers' only animated appearances. After the Care Bears movie, we just never saw him again. He never came back. Which is surprising to see considering that Kenner made an action figure of him. I guess maybe because he's only used for the sake of narration rather than having any part of the actual story. Maybe he wasn't considered interesting enough to carry forward, especially since he hardly interacts with the Care Bears themselves. Still, I think he has a very charming design and served his purpose well. Both The Land Without Feelings and Battle of the Freeze Machine were aired at a time that reflected some of the darkest moments of the 1980s. These specials may have been sweet morality tales about caring on the outside, but on the inside, there is a real edge to them that really does capture scenarios that could actually happen in real life, and Professor Coldheart demonstrates this for being a genuinely disturbing villain. I feel the way both specials handle showing off the Care Bears' cute happy side with Coldheart's dark, cruel, predatory side kinda gives me a theory that the specials, besides having the message of caring and loving for others, also has the theming about the dangers of trusting strangers. There was a point in the late 70s and early 80s where there was a huge awareness and public fear of child abductions. Whether it was the disappearance of Eaton Patz in 1979, the murder of Adam Walsh in 1981, as well as the rise of organizations that began promoting child safety awareness. There was a point in time where any child could most likely get kidnapped by people with harmful intentions. Professor Coldheart is a great adversary for the Bears, and he's probably the franchise's coolest villain for how horrifyingly realistic he is. His cold-blooded nature and his engineering skills really makes him come off as a real threat. I initially thought he would have been a clone of the Purple Pie Man from Strawberry Shortcake, who's a silly, pathetic, skinny villain who likes cheating, but no, Coldheart is almost the opposite of Pie Man. I overall consider the Professor to be a pretty dark character for how he treats the children in these specials, especially in The Land Without Feelings, where he invites Kevin to come to his castle, offers him a cold drink, resulting in Kevin turning into a slave, explaining where all the slaves came from. These details tell us that he's done this many times before, which makes it really creepy. In Battle of the Freeze Machine, he doesn't just lure Paul, he corrupts his emotions, tricking Paul's innocent desire for revenge into a tool of mass harm. And the way he disguises danger behind something cool, like a snowy castle or a contraption, mimics real-life luring tactics. Yes, the core message is about kindness and caring, but there's also a subtextual warning about not trusting strangers, especially those who offer attention or promise to help you feel better in some way. And troubled kids who refuse to express their feelings to others are shown getting taken away from safe environments, being transformed, and needing help from a group of loving caretakers, which would be the Care Bears in these situations. This pattern reflects many of the kidnapping prevention stories children are often taught, even to this day. If someone you don't know offers you something to make you feel better, say no and tell someone you trust. While I might be overthinking this is Care Bears after all, it wouldn't be much of a stretch to say that these specials were likely inspired by one of the national conversations of the time. The Land Without Feelings was a solid introduction to the Care Bears, and what they stand for. The animation is the most primitive I've seen in the franchise, but it overall looks nice, especially the backgrounds. The only thing I dislike about the aesthetics would be the design of the children. I don't know if it's their body proportions or the way their eyes are slanted, but I'm really not a fan of how they look. They're poorly animated and look out of place compared to the other characters. I also felt the writing was a bit sluggish. Kevin's problems is that he's moving to a new neighborhood much to his dismay, but I feel like they put that detail about him off to the side, to the point where you pretty much forgot until the end when the Cloud Keeper mentions how it got resolved. Also, I have a feeling that Wish Bear is most likely OP, since I feel like the story could have easily been resolved quicker if she made multiple wishes. Though I'm sure there's a limit on how many wishes she could make, or maybe there's only a certain percent rate that guarantees success. They don't really explain that in the special. Personally, I feel like this special could have been much better if Atkinson Film-Arts hired Romeo Muller to write it, since Muller would have probably fleshed out the characters a little more. Also, I know they're extremely cheesy, but I just can't help but enjoy the songs, especially Cold Heart's rap. Again, they're quite hokey, but considering how gloomy and dark the special got, I'll take any happy songs no matter their quality. Battle the Freeze Machine is in my opinion a big step up from The Land Without Feelings. The overall animation looks much higher quality. I'm guessing after the success of the previous special, this one was given a bigger budget. The designs of the kids are much better and more cartoony. They definitely fit much better next to the bears in Cold Heart. Frostbite was also a fun comic relief character, who does actually show evil intentions instead of being just a mere servant. I especially love his design for how cartoonishly silly he is. He reminds me of Inky from the old Pac-Man cartoon. Not only that, but I felt like the writing was much more consistent. I think they did a better job fleshing out Paul's character more compared to Kevin in the previous special. In The Land Without Feelings, it was hard to sympathize with Kevin since he came off as annoying, while Paul had troubles making friends and was a victim of bullying. He was always meant to be a well-intentioned kid. His initial motive was due to misguidance rather than anything malicious. He desired to get even with the bullies because he thought it would make him feel better, but it ended up making him feel worse after what he thought was going to be a harmless prank turned out to be much more sinister due to Cold Heart's manipulation. These specials were not afraid to take the Care Bears in a darker direction, and I think they did a solid job keeping it appropriately dark without feeling overly jarring or off-brand. The overall tone in both specials are well balanced and fitting for the scenarios, especially thanks to the music. Would I recommend the Care Bears specials? Well, The Land Without Feelings might not be for everyone due to its slightly weak writing as well as having plot holes. Battle the Freeze Machine, on the other hand, is an overall better special that took all the flaws from the previous special and improved upon it. Better animation, better writing, and better songs for the most part. Personally, I quite enjoyed both specials for what they were. They're nowhere near as good as the Muller era Strawberry Shortcake or Nirvana's Get Along Gang, but as someone who's recently getting into Care Bears, they were still solid watches. Let me know if you're interested in seeing me cover more Care Bears content. I especially would love to cover the movie someday. That'll be all for this video. Till next time everybody, same time, same channel.